You want to clean the blood off my drum set?
Whiplash, like Breaking Bad, is about a scared kid who gets yelled at by an angry bald man who is obsessed with perfection. Except instead of cooking meth, the characters of Whiplash cook up some spicy tunes. The scared kid is Andrew Neiman, a jazz student at Schaefer Conservatory who wants to be the next Buddy Franklin. And the angry guy is J.K. Simmons, who plays the reporter from Spider-Man. He's obsessed with perfection, and he wants to teach the next jazz legend to go along with the likes of Miles Davis and that one saxophone guy. Angry Reporter Man takes Neiman from the chill groovy jazz band he starts in and plops him into the studio band where they cook up some nutty beats that are way more crazy than the first band. But what is so important about the tunes they cook up in the movie? Well, the tunes are used strategically in the movie to portray emotions and introduce parts of the story. For example, listen to the chill, easy music that the Easy Kids band plays. It's all chill and laid back, as most of the movie has been up to this point. Neiman's life is also very groovy compared to the yelling and screaming he gets later on. But when Fletchley, the bald man, takes Neiman and chucks his ass into the studio band, the music ramps up and gets really wacky and groovy with more technically advanced parts. The songs are way more busy and complicated, which reflects the way Neiman's life is going. In the scene where Neiman can't play at Bald Man's tempo, the same few bars of the song Whiplash are repeated over and over again, almost being drilled into your head, before Fletcher realizes that Neiman doesn't have any good pics of Spider-Man for him, and hurls a chair at his head. At this point the music cuts out, and is replaced with silence, before Fletcher fills the silence with some screaming.
You're gonna be on my fucking time!
And then helps Neiman with his math work.
Count again.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Then Neiman plays the best song in the movie before being kicked off the kit. The end of the original song comes back with the core drummer on the kit playing at big boy tempo.
5, 6, 8.
The song ends at a high note that sounds bright and exciting compared to the angry man screaming from before. Which leads me on to my next point. The music in this movie also helps to confuse everyone, making sure that Fletcher is about as complicated as he can get. Fletcher starts off seeming like a nice guy. He's telling Neiman to have fun and enjoy himself when he's about to start the rehearsal, then gives compliments when Neiman plays. This sets him up as a chill bro who would probably be, encouraging during rehearsals, before transitioning sharply away from that happy guy to angry bald man once he decides the tempo Neiman plays at is not the same as his conducting.
Not quite my tempo.
He gets really angry really quick and has this little tantrum where he throws things and forgets what everything is, showing a very different side to himself.
What does that say?
Quarter note equals 215.
What is that?
Eighth note?
What is that?
Dotted 16th note.
Answer! Jesus fucking Christ!
There's a scene towards the end of the movie when Neiman sees the reporter from Spider-Man playing in a bar. The song he plays is calm and inviting, and then the two have a conversation where Fletcher explains why he is so angry all the time. The conversation is pleasant compared to the screaming that he usually does. The song that he plays in the bar helps to confuse the audience in this scene and make sure that no one knows what's up. As even though half the movie is him yelling and screaming, Fletcher still feels like he could be a nice guy with groovy tunes. Seems like a more or less regular person who doesn't throw chairs at people. After their chat, Fletcher invites Neiman to play drums in the pro band he's leading for JVC, a jazz festival that could potentially decide Neiman's future career. The movie doesn't explicitly show whether Neiman accepts or not, but it does show him setting up his kit to practice. There's no music here, just silence. This gives the feeling that Neiman doesn't feel the same way about his music that he used to, as the first half of the movie was so full of tunes. These later scenes have none of it though, making it feel much more empty and deadened. But the moment Neiman grabs his sticks again, the music returns, building to a climax before cutting to the sound of musicians warming up. This is the same sound that was played just before Neiman first started cooking up bangers in the studio band, before he had his first chair thrown at his head. Angry Bald Man gives a little pep talk, still seeming like a reasonable lad here, no screaming or throwing things. The musicians all go out on stage, and J. Jonah Jameson lets Neiman in on a funky little secret.
You think I'm fucking stupid?
What?
I know it was you.
He knows that Neiman hid his Spider-Man pics from him. Oh, and also he's the reason that he got fired from Schaefer Conservatory. This is a tense scene, still with no music, until Fletchington announces that the band will play a new piece that Neiman has never heard of. The song is complex and confusing, especially since Neiman has no idea what's going on. He's clearly stressed, and the bass player knows it. The song ends, but Neiman doesn't realize and trails off. The entire song sounds like a mess. Mr. Bald Sabotage Man makes some remarks about it, and then tries to announce another piece that Neiman has probably also never heard of. But before he can, Neiman takes control for the first time in the movie. He starts playing Caravan over the top of what the bowling ball is saying. It sounds confident, and you can tell that everything he does is intentional. It's all perfectly in time, which is a stark contrast to the last piece, where he was playing with about as much confidence as me in one of my chemistry exams. He gets through the entire song without getting anything thrown at him, and even the angry asshole from before is getting into it. Very groovy. After the song ends, Neiman flies into the nuttiest solo I've ever seen. Boy's truly grooving here. The entire song up to this point was extra spicy and made the scene feel like the previous disaster of the song never even happened. And even Fletcher forgets how pissed he is at Neiman for keeping his Spider-Man pics hidden, and also for getting him fired. He's really getting excited here. Look at him. Then Neiman's solo gets about as wild as it can before cutting off. He and the angry guy exchange a groovy little glance before the song ends on the spiciest chord in the movie. The whole scene shows how much Neiman has grown throughout the movie, taking control of his life and defeating the grumpy bozo who threw chairs at him back in his childhood. The end.